Alrighty. We'll be going live in just a second.
What up? What up? What up? RJ Fancy Football Talk, and we are
Yo.
back. What's going on? Hey, y'all got a little sneak peek from behind the scenes. We was doing a little work in here. I
I
don't know
don't.
why. Hey, look, if y'all enjoyed it, we might bring some more extra content to you. But hey, we here. What's going on, man? You know what it is. Friday.
Hey, it's
Jay, what's
Jay.
up, man?
Man, I am struggling as always. But
All
hey,
right.
we're ready for our every week schedule now that the preseason started. So I'm working out all the bugs so we can bring you guys the
Working the
best
kinks out,
show.
brother.
Yeah, doing what we do, doing what we
Oh, of
do.
course, of course, of course.
Yo, welcome Carla, welcome my mom to the show. I see y'all two out there and some others as well. So glad to have everybody here
Yeah.
with us. Hey, before we jump in, we've been doing our rankings and we're gonna do some more of that. But hey, let's. I mentioned in preseason. Did you watch the Browns and the Jets? That awesome game.
No, I think I watched maybe the first 2 minutes of it, and then I turned and I started watching something else. I'm not gonna watch backups, third string guys.
I like it's the preseason, so we know people aren't gonna play their starters
Yes.
for serious minutes. But can you play a little bit? Like they announced
Well,
beforehand that Deshaun Watson wasn't gonna play, and Rodgers wasn't gonna play, and then a whole host of other players. I'm like, wow, y'all not even trying to make people look at this, except for
So
the
it was
watching the
like,
Hall of Famers if you want to see those
that's funny.
guys.
And
I
the
mean,
rest.
I,
I'm
I would
sorry.
say this.
I'm
I
sorry.
think
I
I
had to. I'm sorry. Y'all
no,
go ahead. Y'all go
nah,
ahead.
you
Because
hey
that's what it was. And the
yeah,
rest.
it was.
I'm sorry. I'm
Yeah, you're
sorry.
good. It was some mess. It was some mess. But I actually did watch. I made myself sit and watch it. It was terrible at the beginning. Then it kind of got semi interesting in as much as the score got close, but it was still
yeah.
terrible. It was
I mean,
still
the only thing
yeah.
you get out of you might find a gem or two, outside of that, I mean, I think
Yep.
the only gem you might have found was Arian Foster. I think
Oh,
he
you
was
talking
one.
in the past? I was like, okay.
I'm saying
Yeah,
like just for me watching. Period. I think
yeah, yeah.
from a fantasy standpoint, I think Aaron Foster was the only one that was a real gem that was like a preseason guy, and he went on to be really, really good for a
Well,
couple seasons.
I say he's dead to me, but that dead to me guy, he was pretty good in the preseason, and that's when he became the dude. So dead
Yeah,
to
I mean,
me, y'all. If you've been watching it long enough,
I'm
you
about
know
to say,
who he
remind the
is.
people who's dead to you, because not everybody
Hey,
knows.
if you don't know, it don't matter because he already dead. So
Antonio Brown, people,
no,
Antonio
wow.
Yeah, I'm about to
Brown.
say, you gotta
His name
remind
is
the people who's dead to you until
no.
they know.
His name is not to be spoken on this show. So
Antonio
we
Brown,
Thank
Antonio
you.
and
Brown.
y'all keep
Thank you,
saying his
Rodney.
name. See,
I don't know why
that
you
and
feel some sort of way about him. I mean, just say his name. It's okay. It's all right.
anyway, welcome Nita to the show because we're gonna move on because y'all on some foolishness, both of y'all. Hey, I still click the buttons. I will banish both of
You
you from
can't
this
kick
show.
me out. I live here.
I can kick you off the show. Well, of course, you could just walk right around the
I'm about
curtain.
to say, oh, go on
Yeah.
and kick me off the show and see what happens. Go ahead.
Well, you can't kick me out the show because my initials are in it. So you can try it if you want to. I
I'm
mean,
about to say, go on and kick me out. See what happens.
Sydney, don't worry
So
about it. Don't
the
worry
game
about
was did not great, but hopefully
will shut it
I was
all
good.
down.
I was gonna say
Hey, everybody. How y'all doing?
yes, we acting the fool is what's happening right now. But what I was gonna say seriously, I see. My mom said she fell asleep on the game. It was worth falling asleep on. But some notes. There's it's not a quarterback controversy because there's $230 million behind it. But hey, they had a young rookie playing for Cleveland who looked really good. He coming out of UCLA.
Yeah.
So when Deshaun Watson goes in the toilet, then we'll have somebody. Welcome Catherine Bracey to the show as well.
not going in the toilet. I don't know why you feel that way. He's not. I'm telling you, Deshaun
Yeah.
Watson's going to be good this year.
He's
You're
gonna
not gonna like it, but he's gonna be good. I'm trying to tell you.
he's gonna be better than he was last year. I admit that. So
Yeah.
it's all good. But
He'll be
Dorian
good this
Thompson Robinson is who I'm thinking out of UCLA. He actually looked pretty good. And so it doesn't matter because he's not gonna see the field at all.
Not really. For a
barring
long
some-
time, unless Deshaun Watson get hurt, which
Yeah.
he really don't get hurt too much anyway. So
yeah,
nah.
he just gets massages. Oh wait, what?
Oh!
that wasn't called.
What that low blow? Shame on me. I'm sorry. That was
I didn't say that.
that was wrong. That was wrong. Oh, going back to the game, DeMarcus Ware. If you watch
Terrible,
long enough, you
terrible,
what?
Terrible. That was terrible. Oh my god.
My man
that was
tried.
terrible. I was
He gets an A for effort.
No, he don't. He don't get an A for nothing. He get a F for failure because that was terrible. Oh my gosh! Come on, man. You should have seen it. Did you see the player's face when he was singing? Oh my gosh!
The biggest thing was the surprise that he was at because I forget who it was talking at the site. It's because they saw what say. Is he could actually sing or what's going on? And then when he did, it's like okay, well then that's
not
something
even.
you don't see every day. So
No.
nah,
Mm-mm.
yeah. Leave
I'm
it to
good.
the professionals would
Yeah,
probably
please.
be. But hey, it's the nobody was watching anyway, so he might as well had gone with
he
it.
made his
so,
rounds. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
On social media, he made his rounds. So no,
Yeah.
not even. No, that's terrible.
Any other fun fantasy football or NFL news? Because we're doing that, even though the banner doesn't let you all know. But we're talking news. What's good?
You got a couple of unofficial depth charts.
Unofficial
which
depth charts.
don't mean nothing for real. It just means certain players are starting or backups or whatever.
Yeah.
But camp is over for most teams. A lot of teams are doing joint practices now, and a lot of teams are they're pretty much about to start playing preseason games coming up Friday night. So a lot of guys can still lead some other guys if they play well in the preseason. So, I mean, that's about it. I mean, you had Henry Ruggs, he got 3 to 10 years. 3 to 10 years today. I want to say he was driving.
He was driving under the influence at
killed
extremely high speeds.
Yes.
Killed the lady and her dog, and he'll be in prison.
Yeah.
Right.
OJ said he didn't get enough time, but this is coming from OJ.
This is right.
This is coming from OJ.
Of all the people that you think would just lay low and
OJ Simpson.
Okay, OJ.
Okay.
Yeah. We'll take your word for it. We got
read the room. Right.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
Don't worry about that.
Yeah, okay.
But I will say what's interesting on these depth charts that again mean nothing is there a lot of ors.
Yeah, you see that?
It's gonna be this guy or that was like, well, we knew that. Like, okay, there was some other option. But here's the one of all the depth charts that again mean nothing, so don't read too much into any of them. The Atlanta Falcons, holler at us, those in Atlanta, have Bijan Robinson listed as the RB3.
I seen it, and I was like, whoa.
Raise your hand if you think there's any truth at all to that one. And
I'm not saying he's gonna be RB3, but
okay.
I think I've been saying it since we've been going live again.
Okay.
It ain't what people think. I think they like to run the football, and
and they've got a room full of running backs.
Everybody's gonna get a chance. I keep trying to tell people, Patterson is not just
Cordero Patterson's not disappearing.
And they had a 1,000-yard running back in Nigeria. They're not going away.
Yeah.
So he gonna get his share. He gonna get his share of carries, but he just ain't gonna be the main dog and get 350 carries. They gonna break it up, and he gonna maybe get 200. He might get a more line share of anything, but I've been trying to tell people.
I'm with you. They're gonna share the wealth in that backfield. It's gonna be, and that's why we talked about it. That the hype of him being a first rounder.
Yeah.
Back of the first round, kinda, but I think people are overblowing what it's gonna be. Of course, this is the same guy that told you Najee Harris wasn't getting 1,000 yards. So trust me if you want to.
I mean, but
throw it out. But Najee had the backfield to himself. I don't think that's gonna be the case. My only thing is, but RB3, come on, they could at least put him in RB2 slot.
I think they want him to earn it, and I kind of get it. So, but again, I'm telling you, like people, I've seen him go above.
Yeah,
Eckler, CMC.
Which
like
makes,
CMC is.
Some people have him the number 1 overall draft pick, and I'm like,
that's
wow,
insane.
You're crazy.
It's no way you put him there. Like for me, I'm sorry, Eckler, CMC, Derrick Henry, those guys are going way ahead of Bijan for me. And that's just some names I'm naming now, but there's probably a few I can name, a few more I can name, but. They gonna split. Algier is gonna see the field. They're not just gonna throw him to the bench.
If you have Algier on, let's say your dynasty team, someone over here, you're probably excited to see that because you're like, okay, he is not gonna be completely. He's thrown to the wayside. And
I said it 2 weeks ago. Cordero Patterson, best position is running back. It is not receiving. He's not a route runner. He can't run routes. His best position is kick returner and running back. Those are his 2 best positions, and they gonna use him in those positions. Yeah. It's just when he was the running back, the main running back, he got tired and he couldn't really finish the season.
And he doesn't have to do that because
he don't got to do that no more. But they're gonna use him because he's good at that.
Yeah, you'd be crazy not to.
you know what I'm saying? I'm saying, like, come on, man. Like, I mean, you don't pay attention to the third running back, but at the end of the day. I don't think he's going to be third on the depth chart, but I just think he's not going to get as many carries as people think.
That's one of the few things where I say the depth chart doesn't mean a thing, especially at that position, because like you said, all 3 guys are going to get work. So we'll see. Now, we mentioned Dynasty. We had our first draft of the year. How do you think you did?
I mean, I ain't winning nothing, but
well, you didn't win anything last year, so
I mean,
it's just incremental. That's why it's Dynasty. Incremental improvements.
I got improved. I mean, I got some quarterbacks, but I got a bunch of young quarterbacks who probably the only one that's gonna see the field is Bryce Young, and that's about it. But I don't other than that, my team is pretty much the same as last year. So I picked it now. The one guy that I think is going to be good is Washington, the kid Washington from Pittsburgh.
Yeah,
I think he's going to be really, which we're going to speak on that later, but I think he's going to be really good because he is tight end one in Pittsburgh right now. And I think they're going to really give him a shot because he's huge. He's huge, by
he's
the way.
huge, but
he's like,
I don't think he's moving Freiermuth out the way.
I don't know about that. I mean,
I am 100% sure.
Freiermuth is good, but I think they're going to go two tight end sets.
But
and
that is what's going to happen, yes.
He's 6'7", 267 pounds. And he runs like a 4.6.
Yeah.
He's really fast to be big anyway. And dynasty-wise, yes, you take him. Redraft, probably late.
Rookies aren't really reliable as tight ends in redraft. So every once in a while you have a Kyle Pitts, but I can't think of another tight end that really had a big fantasy impact in their rookie year. I mean, even the great Travis Kelce wasn't that big of a deal then.
I don't know, man. I've been watching him because they show a lot of clips of the Pittsburgh Steelers on Twitter. He's been burning linebackers. I mean, to the point where they look, he running with the ones already, and he gonna make a difference.
Talking about we went with criminals and stuff that those that get mentioned, but the two tight end sets that they ran in New England with Aaron Hernandez and Rob Gronkowski, you can see a similar thing happening potentially this year.
I mean,
because I say this, and welcome Angelo to the show. We have our resident Pittsburgh fan coming in who's saying he's going to be a difference maker. That I said it all last season, and I'm going to say it again. The Pittsburgh team is going to be really interesting to watch starting this year.
I think now I'm going to tell you one that's in practice. George Pickens.
Oh, yeah.
He making some catches.
Pickett to Pickens. I said it already. That's going to terrorize the AFC for years.
Oh, my gosh. And a lot of people think Kenny Pickett ain't good for some reason.
Kenny Pickett's better than people think.
Yes, Kenny Pickett's will be way better than people think. And I think Kenny Pickett will take – I'm here to say he may – right now, if you had to rank the quarterbacks in that division, I mean, obviously Joe Burrow was one. But I don't know, man. You can say Pickett's at the bottom, but he can fight his way up past.
Yeah. I forgot. And Carlos also representing for the Steel Curtain. How did I forget that? I'm sorry. I apologize.
I mean,
we got a couple of Pittsburgh folks.
I know that division is going to be really good this year. So
that's going to be an interesting to watch. So we'll see what it do. Well, are we ready to get it going? All right. Like we said at the top, we did quarterbacks about a month ago. 2 weeks ago, we did running backs. We're gonna give you all a 2-for-1 special with wide receivers and tight ends coming in tonight. So there's so many, and this I think is a position, and I always say you can play around a lot with it because there's so many wide receivers. There are a couple that we'll start with that you might want to grab early, but after that, for your wide receivers, you can just fill those suckers in. And even when we get to our bottom tiers, there are going to be some wide receiver talents in here. So let's start off at the top. You want to get us going?
Let's go.
All right.
We got Jefferson, Chase, Kupp, Devontae Adams, Tyreek Hill. Now, this list, you can't go wrong. Obviously, Jefferson is A1. He's the probably best one on this list. But the one I think you need to keep an eye on is Cooper Kupp. Coming off an injury.
The hamstring.
But I don't think that – I think he just don't want to practice probably. I think that's part of it. That could be part of it.
I don't know about that one.
I'm not gonna put the man business out there, but I think probably he probably tweaked it a little bit, and they saying, "Look, we're gonna shut you down until the regular season starts."
And they better.
Yeah. But you gotta think about it. Stafford's best friend is Cooper Kupp.
Yeah, he is the offense. You won't find someone with a bigger share of the targets in the offense to him, and then Justin Jefferson coming in right behind. But guess what? They run the exact same kind of offense, and they run that exact same role in it. So yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, then you got to think he averaged about 15, probably 15 targets a game last year. It was something outrageous where Allen Robinson didn't even get looked at all last year. So I think it's out of this whole list, you got to think about Jefferson and Chase. Those guys are going to get going early. Some people are going to use very, very high picks on those guys in general. But for me, Cooper Kupp may fall to you not late.
Because of that injury. Yeah.
Because of the injury.
You're going to get them later than you normally would.
Yeah.
And so I'm buying the discount. Yeah.
And another one, Devontae. I think Devontae's situation at quarterback with Jimmy Garoppolo, I think that changes the way people think about him because the Raiders are going to have to structure the offense a little bit different than they did.
Tweak it. Yeah.
Yeah, because they're going to have to shorten the passing game in order to get him the football, which, I mean, it's possible. I think he's still going to do well, though, because he's Devontae.
Because I'm about to say it, because he's Devontae Adams.
He's Devontae, so I think he's going to do well. So, I mean, other than that, I think those guys, this list is a good list, obviously. Can't go wrong with any of these guys. And I fought for Tyreek Hill because I think Tyreek Hill deserves to be on this list. He did 1,700 yards last year. You cannot discount that at all. So,
I feel like that target that was targeted directly at me. So let me say, because when we're putting this list together, I did not have Tyreek Hill. I'm probably one of the few people on the planet who didn't have Tyreek Hill in my tier 1 group. And I'm going to tell you why. Because of a guy that we have coming up in the tier following, I think is going to be better than him starting this year. And the situation is this. Name all the seasons in Tyreek Hill's career when he's been over 1,500. You mentioned the 1,700 this past year. Name all the seasons when he went over 1,500 yards as a receiver.
It's only one.
That was last year. Exactly. Yeah. So what we saw last year is something that we haven't seen from him. Now, granted, it was because he was getting under the shadow of Travis Kelce. But I'm saying, at the very least, I don't want to say his name, but Waddle is going to be making a really big impact on this offense this year. And they're both going to be 1,000-yard receivers. Don't get me wrong, but I like Jalen Waddle that much better.
I mean, put it like this: you're going to pay a premium for Tyreek Hill, but for Waddle, you might not have to pay that premium. And I understand where you're coming from, but at the same time, the only thing that's different is you're gonna pay a higher premium for Tyreek Hill than you will for Waddle.
And that's why I'm going Waddle. Yes,
Waddle you can get Waddle not late, but you can get him at a good price point in the draft because with Tyreek Hill, you may have to go up earlier to get him than Waddle. But I told you when we did it, I think Waddle did 13 and some change, almost 1,400 yards. I think he does about 15, and I think Tyreek does his normal 15 to 16, 17 maybe.
That's not normal though. Remember what I said. That's not normal.
But again,
you're talking one data point.
They don't have a third receiver that you can even name that you can say, you know what, he can steal some catches away from them. They don't have a tight end that you can say they're going to steal catches.
Kaseki gone. Right.
Yeah, Kaseki's gone. So those two guys are going to eat regardless.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. They're both 1,000-yard guys, but it's tier 1. And so I saved tier 1 for the greatest of the greatest, which goes to Angelo's question. Davante Adams, same production as last season, considered one of the greatest. In my mind, he already is. Maybe the greatest. I know Jerry Rice people on the other side of this are going to be like, no way. But here's why I think Davante Adams is going to give you the same thing he gave you last year, because yards is no question. You say there's not a third wide receiver in Miami. That's not really a second wide receiver in Las Vegas because Hunter Renfrow, you guys already know I love Hunter Renfrow, and I'll talk some Hunter Renfrow all day long. But he's a role kind of guy. And so then you say, okay, so the second wide receiver is Jacoby Myers. How many touchdowns does Jacoby Myers have across his career? Devontae Adams is going, and this is what made Devontae Adams great last year. Not just the 1,000 yards he can do in his sleep, touchdowns. And Devontae Adams is going to have very similar touchdown numbers as he had last year. Because quite frankly, especially if Josh Jacobs continues to hold out, it's going to be the Devontae Adams show, and he is going to feast in that.
So
offense.
let me ask you this. Now the thing is, Debo 2021 he had 16 or 1,700 yards, something like that. And Jimmy was the quarterback, obviously, and they used him in a different way as far as short routes, cross the middle, crossing patterns, nothing longer than 15 yards. Now, do you think they have to set the offense like that for Devontae?
They're going to adjust to go with Jimmy Garoppolo's system, but this is the year that we're going to see the system that they've been trying to get into place, and I think we're going to see how good the system is for one. But Josh McDaniels cannot ruin Devontae Adams. It's literally impossible to do. So, yeah.
I mean, I think he still does numbers this year. I don't think Jimmy hurts that at all. But I just think it's going to be harder for him. It's going to be a lot of yak running after the catch.
Yeah.
That type of.
I mean, because it's Jimmy Garoppolo.
Yeah, that's how you can get his yards.
It's going to be, and that's actually something that can help Hunter. I mentioned Hunter Renfrow. That's something that can help him because Hunter Renfrow is literally built for Jimmy Garoppolo's style. And if you want to believe off-season talk, he and Hunter Renfrow have been establishing quite a rapport with each other because that's the kind of wide receiver that Jimmy needs. So there's a Hunter Renfrow thing. Welcome JLS, the senior Jasper Lewis, to the show as well. Oh, and Angelo's inviting me to be at the Raiders-Steelers game. That's not what he said in the comments, but that's how I'm interpreting it. So let's do it.
Oh my gosh!
All right, that's tier one wide receivers. Like we said, those guys are no-brainers. You can't lose with any of them. And I'll be honest, I don't think you can lose with our tier two guys either. We have A.J. Brown, Stephon Diggs, CeeDee Lamb out in Dallas, Garrett Wilson in his second year joining up with Aaron Rodgers. That should be really fun. He's perhaps the new Devontae Adams if you did watch the Hall of Fame game. We got Amon-Ra St. Brown and my man Jalen Waddle coming in. And like I said, those tier one guys are the best, but these guys aren't that far away from it.
I like this list. Now, I'm gonna say my biggest question mark, but the guy that would probably be last on this list for me is probably Garrett Wilson. Just because of
your hatred of Aaron Rodgers.
I don't hate Aaron Rodgers. That's not true. You gotta stop putting that out there to the people, man. I just give the facts. Yes. Oh, by the way, Nita's agreeing. That was an invite because Angela said it, so I'm going to the Raiders Steelers game. All expenses paid. I'm gonna just keep adding to it. But yeah, you hate Aaron Rodgers. I don't hate Aaron Rodgers.
You don't like him.
If I'm in a draft, I'm going everybody ahead of him. But I think Garrett Wilson is really good. Yeah. I think he's gonna be good. I think he did 1,000.
He did 1,000 with Zach Wilson. And
I think he does. Now, I don't think he's Devontae Adams. He's not gonna come out with the thing and do Devontae numbers. But I like him. I just think those guys. I think A.J. Brown has done it before. Diggs has done it.
A.J. Brown's gonna have a blow up season.
Again, I mean, think about it. A.J. Brown, Diggs, CeeDee Lamb, again, going to have a good year. I mean, Amon St. Brown, they have nobody else to throw to, bro, in Detroit. Not one.
T.J. Hockenson.
I mean, other than that, and you got Gibbs. I mean, that's about it. Yeah. But you ain't got nothing else. He's going to have a monster year. Yeah. So, yes, you probably can get Garrett Wilson on the cheap. Not too late, but you can probably get him on the cheap, though. For him,
I think you can probably get him beneath all of these other guys in this tier 2 grouping. I guess the only one he's close to would be maybe Amon-Ra St. Brown, but the hype on Amon-Ra, no way. So yeah,
Yeah.
Garrett Wilson is probably at the end of this tier 2 list.
Yeah, definitely.
Also, not just because of he's only in the second year and he has to develop the chemistry with Aaron Rodgers, but for the fact of we both said we think there's going to be a lot of rushing of the
course.
ball with that Jets offense, and so that's another thing that could handicap his
Of
numbers
course.
a little bit.
Yeah.
But you know,
I
but
agree with
I'd
that.
say this for everyone when you're drafting between tier 1 and tier 2, you have to, and I repeat, have to get at least one of these guys. Don't leave your draft without one of those tier 1 or tier 2 wide receivers, because if you do, then you can just say no to the playoffs and no to winning your championship.
So I got a question for you now.
Yeah.
Are you going zero running backs, being that these two? I mean, you don't have to give your strategy away. I already know how you draft anyway, so it don't matter.
Hey, I tell the people all the time, I hold nothing back. I would give you a handbook with my strategy and still win because, quite frankly, I'm that good. Championship just again last year.
I got
added
more
my
than you, but
eighth
we
to
gonna
the
talk about
collection,
that.
but
Okay.
you know, it's what we do. So, hey, you're watching because you know we win. So, I have no problems telling people. And am I going zero running back?
No. But what I'm saying is,
I can never go zero running back, but I will go hero. I'm gonna get one good running back. Now, I will say this: I'm not even guaranteeing you, depending on where I am in the draft. Like I said last year, was my strategy, and I didn't follow through with it, and I kicked myself the whole season. If I have the number 1 pick, I'm going Justin Jefferson, no question. And then I'm going to follow up in the second round with a really good running back. But so if I'm early enough, I'm trying to get a Justin Jefferson or Jamar Chase or Travis Kelce. We're talking about that later. And then follow up with a running back after that. But you have to, for me, at least have one really stood kind of running back. It's hard to get a bell cow guy like a Derrick Henry we discussed the last time, or Nick Chubb. But you got to get some guy that you know is going to get a good amount of touches, at least between 15 to 20 touches a game, hopefully closer to that 20, in order to win fantasy football. So.
Well, no, what I'm saying is if you had the opportunity, if the opportunity was there, and you can say you can get Jefferson and Chase or Jefferson and Tyreek Hill or any one of these guys in these first two groups, and you had the opportunity to do it, would you do it? Or would you say, you know what, I'm going to go one of them, and then I'm going to try to get the best running back available?
Most likely the latter, because in the leagues that you and I are in, I can't imagine being able to team two of the two. Like, I don't know if everyone went into a food coma before the draft or got too much of the OE in their system.
I mean, they do that there.
But I can see getting maybe a top wide receiver. Depending on where you draft, you can get, if you're around, I would say 4, you might be able to team like a Cup up with like a Garrett Wilson, and then maybe wait for the wraparound to get a running back. That way, I'd think about it, but probably wouldn't be my first strategy.
I wouldn't do it. I'm too old. I'm telling my age.
We started in the age where your first 2 or 3 picks might be running backs if you go back far enough.
I'm telling my age of fantasy, playing fantasy football. Yeah. I draft old school, and I win old school. So the thing is, I still like my running back. I see a lot of people going. I seen somebody on Twitter said I'm going 0 running backs to the 4th round. There's no way I can do that. First of all, so you telling me you gonna skip 4 rounds going straight receivers, and you're just not gonna get a running back?
Receiver, tight end.
Yeah, I don't see it.
I mean, more power. Hey, it can work if you get it together, but for me, nah, it's not my preferred strategy. But I can see there's some cases where I might try to do something similar-ish.
Okay.
As you saw from last year's draft, I'm not afraid to go outside the box.
We know.
Depending on what's lined up for me. But
are you gonna do it this year?
100%.
You're in the same position.
I won the championship doing it last year. I'm gonna do it again.
Okay, I got you. Hey, look, I got you.
Let's hit this tier 3.
Let me pull it up because it's kind of Tyler Lockett, DK Metcalf, T. Higgins, Chris Olave, Devontae Smith, Amari Cooper, Terry McLaurin, Keenan Allen, DeAndre Hopkins. Um, DeAndre Hopkins made this list based off 8 games last year.
Yeah.
Um,
But he showed out in them games.
he did.
He showed
Now,
out in them games.
does Tannehill? Because I think Hopkins makes. You ever seen the thing where receivers make quarterbacks good?
Look good. Mm-hmm.
I think Hopkins is one of those guys.
100%.
I think he makes because he's played with some really bad quarterbacks in his lifetime.
He's played with some terrible quarterbacks in his lifetime.
So I feel like he's one of those guys that make the quarterback better.
Yeah.
Does he make Tannehill better, or does he lose it a little bit with Tannehill this year?
I don't. My only concern with D Hop is not his quarterback because, like you said, he's played with some bad ones and still produced.
Mm-hmm.
What scares me is his age.
I don't think that has
and
anything to do with
potentially
it.
being injured. I'm not saying it will, but if there's a reason for me to shy away from him, that would be the only thing that comes to my mind.
Okay.
Because I don't think there's some guys that I think are just foolproof, and I think Nuke is one of those guys where even for a little bit, Ryan Tannehill had a really good look just a few years ago, and he almost looked like that's why he got paid all that money.
Yeah.
And so I think this is another setup where they can do a very similar thing. So, yeah, I think this is a good spot for him. So, what about you?
I think he's foolproof. I think he's gonna. I'm not saying Tannehill gonna go out there and just throw for 4,000 or 5,000 yards, but I think the majority of Tannehill's yards are gonna be to him. Now they do have a second receiver that we'll talk about later, who is actually he's more of a second or third year, and I think he's pretty good. But I think he's gonna help him a lot in a sense because he's gonna draw that safety over the top because they're gonna have to double team him. So I like Hopkins here. I think Hopkins is gonna have a good year because he went for like 800 yards in like 7 games last year.
In very few games, if you go with his yards per game, he had one of the or his fantasy football since it's a fantasy football. You go to his fantasy football numbers per game. He was one of the best in the league. So if there's a guy on this tier 3 group I don't much care for. It's Keenan Allen.
Oh man, me either. Now,
Keenan Allen gets on this list just because he's up there on his name recognition and what I know he's capable of doing at his best. I'm not sure he's gonna be. Hey, he ain't been at his best, so I don't know about that. But I think he still deserves to be in this tier 3 grouping. But if there's someone who's gonna fall completely off for me, more than D Hop, is him.
Now, let me ask you this. Which one, give me 2 guys off this tier 3 that probably could go into tier 2 by the end of the year?
I give you 2 guys who could go into tier 1 by the end of the year.
Ooh.
Are you ready?
Yes.
Number 1, DK Metcalf.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Now, here's the reason why. Because my man is a beast. Now, I've been more of a Tyler Lockett guy than a DK, and it's shown in the years that they both played together. The year that DK made it to the Pro Bowl, 1,300 yards, was the only time in his career that he's produced better than Tyler Lockett over a course of a season. Only happened once. But this year, because of another wide receiver we're going to mention further down the road, I think Tyler Lockett gets hurt by the acquisition they made in their rookie year. Then, because you can't replace what DK does. DK is just a huge. No. What is he, like 230, 6'3"? You can't teach that speed. You can't teach that size. And as good as Tyler Lockett has been, and I think will continue to be, I think he's just like that situation we said before with Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill. They're gonna both eat. But I think this is going to be the second year that DK actually outproduces Tyler Lockett, just because they have 3 really good wide receivers. But I think Tyler Lockett goes down a little bit because of the rookie that they put in. whereas DK is just going to do DK things.
I agree with you. Who's the second one?
My second one, and this one, I'm going to another young guy. I want to say T. Higgins, but I just don't think so because I think Jamar Chase is going to just do Jamar Chase things. But there's a guy on this group and who could just stupefy folks like he did last year with Andy Dalton, Chris Olave, and because Michael Thomas is there, okay, as well. And I said before, I think he is kind of washed, but he'll be there for as much as he can, and I think he's gonna take off some of the pressure. But Derek Carr is on a mission to prove, it won't me over there in Las Vegas, and you hook him up with Chris Olave, and I think they're gonna put up some monster numbers together.
Well, that's
in a dome, by the way.
That shows you that we think alike. Honestly, I was saying DK and I was saying Chris too. I think it'll be hard for Devontae Smith. Now, I think Devontae Smith could slide into that tier 2.
Yeah, definitely.
But DK going into 1 and Olave going into 1 is possible. But I think Smith could fall into that 2.
Yeah. He's definitely talented enough. And if Jalen Hurts has to kind of follow-up year, I can definitely see him going up.
Now, the one player like Terry McLaurin is, if he ever had a great quarterback, oh my God.
Or even a good one. He's been doing his career with the likes of Carson Wentz, Taylor Heineke, and now Sam Howell. No offense. He's had terrible quarterback play.
Put him with Justin Herbert.
Oh, that would be
he would
lights
be
out.
A tier 1 wide receiver in a heartbeat. He just plays with bad quarterbacks, and I think it's the same. And I would gladly put him as a tier 2, but I think Sam Howell kills his.
If he had even a moniker of a quarterback, he would be a tier 2 guy. In fact, when we were writing the list, tier 2 was what first came to my mind until I was like, oh, it's Sam Howell. Never mind.
I feel like they have to get him a quarterback. I mean,
or Sam Howell has to be better than we think.
I mean, not according to training camp, but what I've been reading, I don't think so either.
There's a chance that Jacoby Brissett could win that job,
and that's what the coach said out of his own mouth.
Even if it's not week 1, we could see them switch because Jacoby Brissett looked pretty good last year, filling in those weeks before. In fact, I think he got as high as in one of our leagues as a top 10 quarterback last year for the time he was there. So Jacoby Brissett, I'd actually take that, knowing what I know now, over Sam Howell.
Because I'm afraid they're gonna waste his good years.
That would be sad. Yeah,
without a quarterback, and I think that's just horrible because he does 1,000 yards every year consistently with bad quarterbacks.
Sort of like Brandon Cooks did for
Brandon Cooks did it for
years.
And they got to get him a quarterback. I wish they would send somebody I know there, but I'm not going to talk about that tonight. But
I know who
I wish they would send him there because he would be great for Terry. He would be great for. But I feel bad for him, man. And if he had a quarterback, I would slide him into a tier 2, almost tier 1 easily.
But he's easily, like you said, tier 2 talent wise. He don't have the guys with him. Speaking of the Commanders, we don't have Tony with us, but there's some rumblings going on in training camp about Eric Bieniemy's energy. I was like, get out. First of all, y'all need to get over yourselves. And second off, I'm mad at Riverboat Ron for even saying that. Like, why did you should have just said no comment and kept it pushing. I'm
glad what he said though. He was like, look, I want to win.
Yeah.
Y'all used to losing. And the thing is, new ownership is going to back that up. Magic ain't come. I seen an interview with Magic before they brought the team. And he asked the head guy, he was like, look, are you trying to win? And he was like, yeah. He said, that's the only way I'm joining. So I don't think Magic would disagree with that. They need to grow up.
I mean, hey, who has more Super Bowl rings? The whole group of the people that's plays for the Commanders right now, or Bieniemy? Case closed.
I mean, I just don't understand how you can be mad. Be trying to make you tough. And
Soft.
If you don't like it,
What did
Get
Kobe
over it.
say? Soft. That's
Soft.
all some of these young
think
guys
that's-
are.
I think
Just
that's
soft.
crazy. To me, they shouldn't have said nothing. Like,
Yeah.
why do you care? Why would you even put that to the media? Because you know they're gonna run with it. They already don't like Benemi anyway. They think he's not a good OC, and they don't want to make him a head coach. So you're just putting that out there to make it seem like he's an even worse guy because you're saying he's mean. No, he's a football coach.
Right.
Deal with it.
Right.
These
Look
boys
at
soft
the
nowadays.
Commanders' record and get over yourselves.
Yes.
My man's coming to make a difference. So, as much as I don't like the Commanders, I am going to root for them this year because I want to see some big things.
Yeah, they charge you $250 for some regular seats. Man, they lost their mind, man. Man, they done went up, man. I'm trying to buy you some tickets for the Niners game. Sydney, I got a question for you, Sydney.
Producer question.
Mm-hmm.
The guy in the opens in Kansas City.
Any openings?
Yeah, my fandom card is.
He's looking for a new team.
No, it's filled up.
So I can't come over? That's what you telling me?
I don't know. It's kind of full. You know, you got a whole city, a couple states, maybe.
I buy a jersey. I promise. I buy a jersey. I buy a jacket. I buy old school bomber jacket, whatever you need me to do. I buy a fitted hat.
He want to go back to the starter jackets? What?
Yeah, I'm talking about the old school.
You get one of those starter jackets. I think that's because that ain't gonna be easy to find.
No.
Look, I'm telling you, I can find them. Don't worry about it.
Kelsey got one,
the
so
Letterman
somebody
used to wear in school. Now school, I can get one of those too, man. What you talking about?
What? Wait, why are you trying to be a fan now? Because last season,
my gosh.
I'm just bringing up stuff, and it's a legitimate minus that.
God.
It's a legitimate question. So why are you trying to be a fan now? That's just my question. It's a legitimate question.
Because I feel like we're about to go down the same road again with this quarterback we got. Because I can't do Brock Purdy. I can't root for him. I can't. I'm sorry. I asked JJ the other day. I was like, he said, "Let me run it past Sydney and see what she said." I was like,
But
Carla is questioning your sanity
so
at this
many
moment.
teams out there in the NFL that you could be a fan of. Why you want to, be part of
I like Patrick
Chiefs
Mahomes.
Kingdom?
Hey, what's wrong with that?
Everybody in freaking America like Patrick Mahomes right now.
No, I'm just looking. I'm a Niners fan, but I'm probably not gonna root for Brock Purdy this year.
Yeah.
So I can't do it. But
all right. Well, at this point in your draft, you've gotten your number 1 or 2 tier guy. Hopefully, you mix them in with one of those tier 2 or 3, or one of those tier 3 guys. But now we get to the point of you're looking at your third receiver most likely. Welcome, Keith, to the show. Actually, before I get to our next tier, a question: if you start Brissett, you win 7 games. Maybe if Howell starts, maybe you get the first pick in the draft. I'd rather start Howell and see what you get. Hey, you know what? You know a quarterback that's going to be available next year?
yeah,
Caleb.
Caleb.
Hey, that might be the best selling point for Sam Howell all year round.
Nah, I mean it could, but I just the coach came out and said don't sleep on Brissett starting either, in which maybe from what I've been hearing and seeing on Twitter as far as training camp, they say Sam Howell ain't been looking the greatest
because he's not good.
if you think training camp matters, if you think practice and training camp matters, I think because that transitions from practice to obviously playing in a regular season game. If he's not doing it in practice and Brissett is, you got to start Brissett. At the end of the day.
Unless you want Caleb Williams. We will talk about it. Our dynasty team, if you see me not win a game this whole season, it's because I'm trying to get Caleb on my squad.
You think Magic walking in there and they just not winning no games like that? I just think that's crazy. No.
For the integrity of the game, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah,
they'll try to win, blah, blah.
But no, not even. So.
Hey, it's worth it for Caleb Williams.
Tier
4.
I do not want to jump on the bandwagon.
You're bandwagon. Everybody wants to be on the squad.
I was just joking. I'm a Niners fan. I just don't like
even reluctantly.
I just don't like the situation right now. But I'm a Niners fan.
Yeah.
Through and through. It's in my blood. I can't do nothing about it. So.
All right.
That's all right. I'm about to say, as a Chiefs fan, I had years and years of being on a bandwagon with nothing. So
Yeah.
And look,
sometimes you just gotta ride it until something good happens.
Trust and believe, we were bad for 10 years up until like 2000.
I'm gonna cut both of y'all off. Shush, y'all both been in the Super Bowl.
We
I'm a Raiders fan.
Oh, here we go.
Don't tell me about bad. Tier 4. Let's go. Tier 4. So in this case, like I said, you're looking on your third wide receiver, or depending on how you draft it, your second. And there's some guys up here that I think are nice 2s, better 3s. We got Michael Pittman in Indianapolis. We got DJ Moore, who's supposed to be the savior for the Bears, and giving Justin Fields a chance to be the best quarterback overall that Chicago's had. We'll see. Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, if they can get past their quarterbacks. Deontay Johnson, and we mentioned George Pickens earlier in the show. Your guys, Brandon Ayuk and Deebo Samuel, Jerry Jeudy and Cortland Sutton, Christian Kirk, Drake London in Atlanta, Christian Watson in Green Bay, and a guy we kind of alluded to earlier in Los Angeles is going to do some things. Quentin Johnston, a rookie. Now, like I said, the names of these tiers are going to get really long, so we're probably not going to spend a lot of time on every individual guy. But on this list, give me somebody you really like, or a couple of people you really like.
George Pickens, definitely.
Yeah, there's a lot to like.
George Pickens is going to be a monster this year. I think he's going to take off, and he's going to take off quick. He took off last year a little bit.
Yeah.
And I think he took off when Kenny got in the game.
Right.
So I think he probably is the one, for me, out of this whole list, is going to take off the most.
You think he takes off higher than Deontay Johnson this year?
Of course. I think he ends up being the number one receiver on that team, hands down. I think Deontay Johnson is going to be good, don't get me wrong, but I think he's going to be a quality number 2 wide receiver.
I think Deontay Johnson is more of a 2. Honestly.
I think so too.
Yeah.
I think so too. And then another one, I think, this might shock you, but I think Brandon Ayuk, he passes Deebo this year.
I wouldn't be mad at that.
No. As far as the number 1. But that quarterback situation is just not there, honestly. For him to be successful, I think if Brandon Ayuk was on a different team. Same thing, it's like Terry McLaurin.
Mm-hmm.
If you put him on a different team, Brandon Ayuk on a different team with a different quarterback that actually can throw the ball, because he gets really good separation.
Yeah.
And he runs routes really well. I think if you get him on a different team, he's hands down a 1,500-yard receiver. It's just on this team he's not. But I think this year he does 1,000. But I think Pickens out of this whole list, is definitely the guy that you look for that could be that guy, to be honest with you.
I got 2 guys I think could go either way, because a lot of these are names and they're going to do what they're going to do. I give you 2 guys that could go different ways. Christian Watson is pretty much the show in Green Bay. I don't know how good he really is, because we saw him at the end of last year put up the first half of the fantasy football season. He was completely irrelevant. Like, he was barely on the team. I see.
Yeah.
I'm saying Michael Pittman for obvious Colts. Hey, if Anthony Richardson Anthony Richardson has shown some promise in the offseason. So if he can, play as well in the season, that's some hope for Michael Pittman. Michael Pittman had a very disappointing year last year. By the way, I was going to get to that. Yeah. From the standards people had set and thought he was going to achieve, quarterback play was the complete reason for his downfall. Yes. So if there's better quarterback play, Michael Pittman Jr. definitely has the talent. But I was going to say Christian Watson only because he's really gotten not much competition. They have a rookie that's looking good. I'm going to talk about him a little bit later. But Christian Watson has a potential to just put up numbers just off sheer volume, because it depends on how depends on how Anthony Richardson progresses. We got to see what Jordan Love really looks like with a full season as the starting quarterback. The other guy I know is going to be good, Quentin Johnston. We talked about this together last year. Not only is he killing it, but last year, despite the fact that Justin Herbert was insane with his numbers. Not a single wide receiver on that team had 1,000 yards last year due to a bunch of injuries, and so. Oh, apparently, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't done. Hit ring the bell. Yeah, help us out. If you're watching, make sure you hit the like button for us. But Quentin Johnston has the chance to start just because I mentioned Keenan Allen is getting over the hill a little bit. Mike Williams, we both talk about, disappears a lot. That's a shot for Quentin Johnston to be the number one wide receiver. If last year goes anywhere, if this year goes anywhere like last year did, you can get Quentin Johnston late, and I think he has. You're gonna say one of the wide receivers in Los Angeles Chargers are gonna get 1,000. The obvious choice would be Keenan Allen is gonna be the guy, but not too far behind that would be Quentin Johnston, and I think that's the guy you can pick up very late in your draft, and he can be a difference maker as a rookie. Hey, there's been rookies putting up 1,000 yards pretty much. The last few years, we saw Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase. We saw Garrett Wilson just last year. Quentin Johnston, write it down. Put him on your list. Draft him. I'm drafting him everywhere I can.
Now, let me ask you this. Does DJ Moore do 1,000 to 1,200 this year with Justin Fields? Because Justin Fields is not your typical
that's what scares
quarterback. Me. Does he make Justin Fields better? Because, like I told you earlier, some receivers make quarterbacks better as far as passing. Is he that guy?
Did DJ Moore make anybody look better last year? I think that was more coaching than him.
It was definitely coaching.
But there's a chance, and my issue is the same problem: coaching. I was not a huge fan of how Justin Fields got used for the majority of that season. I don't think they really started giving him the trust that they needed to the end. And even then, he was more. He put up over 1,100 yards rushing. I think he needs to focus on passing for DJ Moore to be a reliable guy. I think that's probably why we have him down in tier 4 as opposed to one of the higher tiers, because DJ Moore, like we mentioned with Scary Terry, he has the talent to be in that tier 2 grouping easily. Quarterback play, I don't know. And coaching, I sure enough don't know. But I think the logic has been that Justin Fields is going to have a Jalen Hurts boost in his production because DJ Moore is there, sort of like when if you go back when A.J. Brown got with Jalen Hurts, or when Stephon Diggs went with Josh Allen. We're going to see this sort of boost. Yeah. I'm not 100% convinced. He's not. I say this: DJ Moore's not very high on my list of guys to draft.
I get that, and I'm looking at it like it's a good move for Chicago because he did need a receiver. So I think DJ Moore.
I think it's good for the offense. Yeah.
But like you said, they have a defensive-minded head coach. Yeah. But they did bring in another OC.
They did
to kind of help. But I just don't. I don't know. And then you got like Mike Evans and Chris Godwin are really good receivers. But when you got Kyle Trask and Baker Mayfield as your quarterback, I don't know how much that helps you, to be honest with you.
I don't even know if there's a winner between those two quarterbacks as far as the wide receivers are concerned. Who are you rooting for if you're a wide receiver between Kyle Trask and Baker Mayfield?
I think that's going to be more musical chairs as far as the quarterback, because if one starts bad, they can get benched.
When one starts bad, I heard
you. Yeah, obviously. Yeah. So I think it's going to be too many. Okay, one's going to be in and the next one's going to be in, and they're never going to get a rapport with these guys like they were with Tom Brady and even with Jameson. Yeah. Because Jameson had a good rapport with both of these guys.
5,000 yards Jameson threw for that year. People always focus on the 30 interceptions, but he had 30 touchdowns, 5,000 yards.
1,000 yards. So
not too many guys do that.
Yeah. Now, they fall just because of that. Yeah. And Mike Evans is a really – I wish we had our resident Mike Evans fan up here.
I know. But Mike Evans, the third man was with us the last time talking running backs. I don't know why he didn't come back for the wide receivers.
He likes to show up late sometime. I don't know what's wrong with him. Maybe. Yeah, but I don't know. I just think at the end of the day, Mike Evans, if you get him late, I think he's a good two, maybe
Maybe.
a
I mean,
two,
someone's got to
three.
catch the ball. That team's gonna lose a lot, so
Oh, definitely.
someone's gonna
Now,
throw. Yeah,
let me ask you this: the theory of, and I always kind of went with this theory for years.
yeah.
Uh, does a losing team, like a wide receiver that's really, really good on a losing team, is he a good draft pick high because of the fact they're going to be throwing so much? Does that theory work for you, or you think that's just not a good theory at all?
I would pick a losing quarterback high before I picked a losing wide receiver.
Okay.
Only because I know the quarterback's gonna throw when they're losing. I don't
Yeah.
know who he's gonna throw to.
Okay.
There's tons of them, like we said, for wide receivers anyway. So you play your time until the right moment hits.
Okay.
Before we move on from this tier 4 group, we got two wide receivers that kind of failed to this group. We've got some questions about Jerry Judy and Debo. I'll let you start with Debo because that's your dude. Why did he fall this far?
I love Debo, but I think Debo. I hate to call him a gadget player. Um, but I think Debo, he's in the right offense, and he's in order for Debo to do work, Debo has to get schemed because, in
Yeah,
all honesty, Debo is not a great route runner, but he's if you get him the ball in space, he's gonna outrun you or he's gonna overpower you. So at the end of the day, I think that's why he fell to this
yeah.
ranking, and I think quarterback is a prime reason
That's a big reason. Yeah,
why he fell down. Because again, I am a resident Niner fan. I'm going to be rooting for my Niners, unfortunately this year, but I'm not going to root for quarterback because he's not that good of a quarterback. He can't throw over 15 yards, and I think that is going to affect Debo and Brandon Ayuk. They're going to have to play in spaces. Um, but if you get Debo late, because last year Debo didn't play well, and he came in camp overweight, he didn't play well, he didn't run routes smooth, and I think he came in a little bit better this year as far as training wise and weight wise. But
yeah.
I think it's a quarterback, and I think he has to be schemed.
I got three letters for you as to why Debo falls this far in my opinion.
Okay.
CMC. What
Okay.
made Debo great for fantasy football was you
I
never
wouldn't even
knew.
say that.
Like you said, they had to scheme for him. They schemed around Debo. They got him the ball any possible way they could do. And
Yeah.
now they have CMC that does pretty much the exact same thing. So I'm
Yeah.
with you on loving Brandon Ayuk more because Brandon Ayuk is a more pure wide
Receive.
receiver,
Yeah.
whereas Debo, like Gadget sounds bad, but for real,
I,
Debo succeeded because they worked the ball to him any way they possibly could. And with CMC, you don't have to do that anymore.
Yeah, and the thing is, I hate to use the word gadget because I don't
Yeah,
think he's a gadget
yeah,
player. But the
he's
way they use him in his system and the
right.
way they put it, the way they scheme. If you
Yeah,
ever watch a Niners game, they'll run him at running back on the left or the right, and then he'll kind of flank out to the right or the left. That's what CMC do.
yeah,
And you pretty much, yeah, you can use them in the same backfield, but both of them do the same thing.
the same thing.
And if
And no
CMC,
offense, CMC does it better when he's healthy. So
that's true.
yeah,
And but I think it's just they have to scheme for him. Anything over 20 yards or 25 yards, they're not throwing it.
they
So
can't throw that.
they can't throw it.
At least not with Brock Purdy.
Now
Yeah.
Brock Purdy can't throw over 15 yards. I promise you.
That-
And it's more of a post or a slant route is mainly when you'll catch Debo,
yeah.
and then he'll burn the receiver or the safety, and that's how he get his yards and his fantasy points. But I don't really think. I mean,
Yeah.
with CMC there, and then you got to think about it. It's too many mouths to feed
There's a
there.
lot of that's the talented team. Yeah.
Talented team. I love him, but it's too many mouths to feed. So you got to find a way to get him the ball, Brandon you, CMC, Kittles. It's just too much
There's
going
a
on
lot
there.
going on there.
Yeah,
What about
that's why.
what about Jerry Judy? Is it the doubt of Russell Wilson?
I'm
Is
not
it
doubting Russ.
is
I
it
think
is
Russ
it
has.
whether Sean Payton still has it, or was it more Drew Brees
Well, I
than Sean
think
Payton?
I think Judy falls down because of last year. And I think last year was purely coaching.
Mm-hmm.
Now, some of it may have been on Russ, but I think a lot of it was coaching. Um, but Judy got to stay healthy. That's Judy's biggest problem.
That's a big
Um,
issue.
he can't stay healthy. He can't stay on the field. And at the end of the day, if you're not healthy, you're gonna fall to this. It's just like Michael Thomas. Michael Thomas at some point is gonna come on this list, a list that we have, but he hasn't stayed healthy. And that's the
Yeah,
same thing with Judy. Now he may have a bounce back year. Judy is very
yeah.
talented. It's just the health wise, it's the problem. So other than that, I think he's good. And it could be a little bit of rust. Is rust past his prime? We don't know. We'll find out this year though.
We're gonna find out. I say this one thing that Jerry Judy has done too much of: drop the ball.
Definitely.
It's
That's one of them
so
too.
so.
Yep.
eh, Wide receivers get paid millions to catch. They don't get
Yep.
paid to have drops, and so we'll see. But here's one thing: he's been in the league for a few years, so he's gonna have to start playing for some money. So
Yeah. Contract coming
maybe,
up.
maybe. We got another off-subject question. We might cycle back. That if you've seen the
Yeah.
video, there's a
I've
lot
seen
going
that.
on with that.
Yeah,
So,
that's a
yeah,
topic
but
for a whole nother day.
yeah,
Lord
that's a
have mercy.
whole topic. We got a lot more tiers, including tight ends, to get to. So we'll come back if we have some time. Where are we? Tier.
We at tier five.
All right.
Marquise Brown, Gabe Davis, Calvin Ridley, Jahan Dotson, Traylon Burks, Mike Williams, Jordan Addison, GSN, Elijah Mitchell, Zay Flowers, Kadarius Toney, Brandon Cooks, Juju Smith-Schuster, Tyler Boyd. Who do you like off this list?
There's a lot to like on this list, but
Okay.
like we said, at this point we can't get in a lot of detail about them. But some guys I do like on this list. I'll leave it up for those to who are writing these down. We mentioned JSN earlier. I think he's gonna suffer a little bit in his rookie year, being behind two great wide receivers already.
Yep.
But I still think he has a productive year. Um,
Mhm.
as far as rookies are concerned, I really like Jordan Addison. I think he also has a chance to be definitely the number two
Yep.
in Minnesota, but falling back, Justin Jefferson is just going to eat so much of that room.
Pretty much.
But here's the gamble for you to take on this group. There's two gambles,
Okay.
and they're gambles for two different reasons. Number one is Kadarius Toney, because if he can stay healthy.
That's the biggest problem. Lord.
If he can stay healthy, he should be phenomenal in this offense. I
He
don't
should
know
be.
how much I believe in him staying healthy, unfortunately. So I think that's the biggest problem you're going to have with him. The other gamble on this group is Calvin Ridley, coming back off his gambling suspension. I think I mentioned when we talked quarterbacks, I have a lot of high hopes for Trevor Lawrence in that offense.
Mhm.
Does Calvin really surpass Christian Kirk, a guy we didn't really talk too much about when we passed him? Talent-wise, I think he's probably better, but he hasn't played in a year, so I don't know. But I think those are two guys you can get low and maybe have some really good dividends from. Who you like?
I really, I want to say Jordan Addison. I
Yeah.
do, but I- he just gonna eat so much of that. It's gonna be bad for him. I like Ridley though. To be honest with you,
Yeah.
I think Calvin Ridley is gonna be really good. And he's probably a candidate for me to move up a couple tiers
Okay.
at by the end of the year. Elijah Mitchell, maybe. Fresh start from the Jets. And I think Deshaun is a quarterback that makes receivers better. Um, I don't know. It's tough.
Yeah.
It's a tough one here. For me, it's tough.
Yeah. I think that's it. These are guys you're filling in there's some other young guys that we mentioned, Traylon Burks and Zay Flowers. We haven't talked about yet, but he's another guy who could do some stuff, especially with the fact of the health of the wide receivers
Yeah.
in Baltimore. The guys that have an opportunity, but these are all guys you're filling in. These are like late draft picks. That none of these guys should be above your third wide receiver. You're picking these as your third wide receiver, and you're hoping that you just struck oil, and you're gonna have a really good production from them. So
Now, one player on this list that they've been hyping up for the last 2 years, who I think is still not going to be good. I hope he's still listening, Keith. Gabe Davis.
Gabe Davis.
Uh,
Hey, where the hype on Gabe Davis a year ago versus this year? Night and day.
yeah. I don't like Gabe Davis, just to be honest with you. I just think Gabe Davis had one good playoff game. I ain't even
Yeah,
say
literally.
one.
Not yeah.
That playoff game was amazing. But other than that, he hasn't did anything special to say, you know what, Gabe Davis is supposed to be good.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I just don't. I'm not a big fan of Gabe Davis. I'm sorry. And I'll be the first to apologize if he does anything.
I don't want to look. I'm not even apologizing if he does. If he does it, great. But I mean, I'm with you. He had. I say this. I take Gabe Davis more this year than because last year his draft position was just stupidly high.
Way too high.
People were thinking he was going to be Stephon Diggs. Apparently, for me, I think it was just crazy. This year he's fallen a little bit. His average draft position is like 80, around the 80 range. Between 80 and like 100. I'm taking that.
I'm not.
As my third, like I said, all these guys are third wide receivers. I take Gabe Davis as a third wide receiver, maybe a fourth, but you know.
I don't. I mean, he's only a few guys I'm taking off this list anyway.
Yeah, it's not a lot.
Yeah, it's probably.
It's
tough. Oh gosh. Juju. Well, no, I'm sorry, not Juju. I'm not a Juju fan. Calvin Ridley.
Not with Mac Jones.
No, not even. Mac Jones is. Ooh, he's horrible. Calvin Ridley, probably Traylon Burks. I might take a peek at. I'm not touching Mike Williams. Not even the first. Don't even ask me.
We just told y'all about Quentin Johnston. So, yeah.
I halfway like Brandon Cooks in Dallas. Halfway.
But I'm not buying. I think that's another team where there's CeeDee Lamb and then there's everyone else, and you're never gonna know. I think there's a lot of guys, even the rookie they had last year, they'll have a week where they shine here or there. Tobert, I think is his name. But yeah, there's not enough for me to really go crazy on those.
Yeah, I don't. This is more. I ain't gonna say late rounds because I think Calvin Ridley will go a little bit.
Yeah, he's gonna go mid round, maybe 7-8. I think is probably the right time to think about a Calvin Ridley.
Let me ask you this: Marquise Brown.
Nope.
No, that hurt.
Okay.
Marquise Brown. With no Hopkins.
Still quarterback by.
I mean,
McCoy, maybe Kyler Murray at some point.
Kyler Murray missed the first 4 games.
Yeah, so like, no, thank you.
No. I mean, if you want to say, you know how they say "quote unquote" wide receiver 1, he's the "quote unquote" wide receiver 1 there because
for a terrible team who's gonna have terrible numbers. So no, I pass, 100% pass.
Okay, I'm with that.
Pass.
I got you.
Did I say pass?
Pass.
All right, there's one more tier wide receiver, and then we're going to do tight ends. And tight ends is going to go really quick, as you already know. We've got tier 6. Take a deep breath. Rashad Bateman, Van Jefferson, Alan Lazard, Michael Thomas, Nico Collins, and John Mitchell III. Rondale Moore. Jacoby Myers, DJ Chark, Adam Thielen. I like Alec Pierce on the outside chance of being good, but still nothing to get super excited about. Darnell Mooney, who was such a bust last year. Jaden Reed is the rookie I want to talk about. Odell Beckham Jr., Rashee Rice and Sky Moore, pair of young guys in Kansas City. Marvin Mims, and your guy, Jameson Williams.
I like Jameson Williams.
Now, we mentioned Tier 5 was, your Tier 3 guys. These are, like, the late guys that you just take a grab because, hey, you need, you need someone for bye-week fill-ins. But there's a few reasons to like a couple of these guys, but it's hard to get excited about literally any of them. You like Jameson Williams. Want to tell us about that or somebody else you really like on this list?
I mean, I like Jameson Williams, but I wish he wouldn't have got suspended.
I know, right? I think that's why he's this low. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's the main reason why he's this low. He got suspended for 6 games for gambling. I like Meechin. I like John Meechin the third.
I'm rooting for him just to do well since he missed all of last year with leukemia, and we'll see what he does in his first official year. Yeah.
I like him. I think him and CJ gonna probably get a good rapport. There's nothing really to like about this list. Yeah. I mean, the two older guys, Odell and Michael Thomas, I don't know what you get from them this year.
Yeah, the age is the only thing against both of those guys. I like Rashad Bateman, but he can't stay healthy. He just got put off the pup list today. Yeah. But he'll probably be back on it before the season starts, given his history. But if he can stay healthy, which is proved impossible, he has talent. He just, you can't ever get it on the field. I mentioned I like Alec Pierce, and I like Alec Pierce because he's 6'3", like 215. He's a big. I had forgotten how big he is. And we mentioned that if Michael Pittman is going to succeed, is because they're going to find some success at the quarterback position between Anthony Richardson or maybe Gardner Minshew from a week or so. Yeah. But if Anthony Richardson can be really good and feed Michael Pittman, he's going to also be able to feed Alec Pierce. And actually, they've connected in the offseason a couple of times. So that's hope. But there's question marks on all these guys.
How do you? I know, Cooper Kupp takes up a lot of the receptions, but do you feel like Van Jefferson can have at least a halfway shot of getting some receptions?
There's two things, and by the way, in the audience, if you've got comments on any of these guys, please let us know as well. There's the hamstring that Cooper Kupp has, and hamstrings can be nagging injuries throughout the season. And so there's a chance that gives Van Jefferson time to shine, but I fear he's going to have the Allen Robinson treatment. I hope he can't be. I hope he won't be that bad, but there's not enough for me to really like Van Jefferson. See, Keith said the Bengals going to have 75+ catches this year. Mark at 10:23 p.m. We got a endorsement for Odell Beckham. I'm coming back to it.
I'm trying to see who was the last receiver to have 75+ receptions in Baltimore with Lamar Jackson. I mean, because you got to ask yourself.
Mark Andrews is gonna be there. Of Mark Andrews. Exactly. You said receiver, so no, you covered your bases, but I'm like, he's still there. And Hollywood. How many did Hollywood Brown have a few years back? Because that year, the only people he threw to the whole season was Mark Andrews and Hollywood Brown.
But I don't think Hollywood Brown got. I would have to check the numbers, but I don't know. Because Hollywood Brown wanted to get traded because he couldn't do what he wanted. He couldn't do numbers there. So I don't know if it's 75+. That's a lot.
Let's see. 2021, the 1 year that Hollywood Brown hit 1,000, he had 91 receptions.
Okay.
2021.
Yeah. Could happen.
Yeah.
Never know. Never
Mm.
know. Could happen. I mean, hey, I'm just
Hey.
saying. Okay.
I'd say one thing. Here's my other thing about not just Rashad Bateman. I mentioned health. Odell Beckham. I think earlier I mentioned health. Zay Flowers, I just said, was young. You kind of have to have Lamar Jackson be healthy for that 75 to happen, and for either of those wide receivers to do. Hey, half seasons the last 2 years for Lamar Jackson. I hope that's not the case this year, but that's my reason for not really going for any of the Ravens wide receivers, except as bye week replacements. That's
Look.
that's the best I can do with any of them.
All right. Let me ask you this. Give me a benchmark for Lamar, as far as
Games played 13.
no, 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 no,
No.
no. Give me a
Okay.
benchmark for. Just say he played the whole year. Give me a benchmark.
Not gonna
for,
happen. But if he does play the
Oh
whole,
gosh, just come on, man.
look, hey,
Total yards, because
I say if he can stay healthy and play the whole year, he has the best group in the wide receivers he's had. J.K. Dobbins is gonna be healthy.
No,
I doubt it. Based off of it, if that offense is all together and they have the new offensive coordinator, there is no reason that Lamar Jackson won't go 3,700 yards passing. Yes, passing this year.
37.
But I don't think it's gonna happen because I don't. All those things I said that you need 37, and which would be a good number for him. 37 passing, and if he can get like 900 to 1,000 rushing, I think he has a very good season. Throw in like combined 35 to 40 touchdowns.
Is that MVP numbers?
That's MVP numbers.
Because last time I checked, he won the MVP with 3,100 yards and 1,200 rushing with like 45 touchdowns.
Yeah. But do I think any of that's gonna happen is the big question.
I know, because the reason.
But you said, give me a benchmark for him playing. If he plays the full season and has his whole team healthy, I think that's what you should expect.
No, the reason I asked that is because in order for Beckham to get that 75 plus, it would take a whole year in a benchmark of, because he's never thrown for 3,500 yards.
Never.
So it would take that 35, 36, 37 to get that benchmark a little bit. So, I mean, I don't know about that.
Hey,
but
as Carlo pointed out, it's a leap of faith, and that's what you
It
need.
is.
I took that leap of faith last year. If you go back to our bold predictions, I am not taking that leap this year. No.
Okay. All right.
But that's what you need. Yeah.
I mean, if you're telling me Odell getting 75 plus, Odell is a wide receiver 3.
Now, but if he gets 75, I think he's a wide receiver 2. But I don't think that's going to happen either. So
Okay.
all of that is a leap, and I am on the record. Hey, 10-23, Keith said it's happening. 10-28, I said not a snowball's chance in Florida.
Okay, Keith, I got it. You know, you said it, but you know we got something coming up soon.
Yeah.
I want to see you put your money where your mouth is now, because at the end of the day, we got a draft coming up real soon.
Very soon.
And I want you to draft them. And I want you to feel comfortable drafting them too.
The one thing I can say he can be comfortable or draft him is you ain't gonna be fighting anybody for Odell Drew. So he'll be there for you to draft. So you can.
I want you to walk up to that board and say, "I want Odell Beckham."
Hey, like I said, there will be no fights. You could go
promise.
round 10, Odell Beckham Jr., and people probably say, good pick at that point. Because at that point it is.
Okay.
At that point
Hey,
it
look.
is. Yeah.
Michael Thomas, life on the line. Michael
Thomas would not be. You could.
No, you gotta pick one.
You could hand Michael Thomas to me on a golden platter and say, you don't even have to draft him. He's automatically on your team. I'm going to hit X.
You're not taking him?
No. I don't want any parts of Michael Thomas.
Me either. I'm just joking.
I'm taking Odell Beckham Jr. before I take Michael Thomas.
Okay. All right.
I would take Look, I would take Odell Beckham Jr. in the first round before I took Michael Thomas in the 12th. That's how much I am out on Michael Thomas.
Thielen or Odell?
I think they're both washed, but I'm going. I'm going Odell.
Thielen or Odell? Ooh, that's a tough one there. Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
75 catches over 17 games is not a lot.
Well, if I said 75 is saying that it's the stats that he's had before. And, hey, I say this. Lamar's going to be much better for Odell than doggone Baker Mayfield was. So,
I mean,
you know,
that's about
there's
four.
that. And you could say Lamar Jackson really pushed to get Odell on that team. And so that can kind of tell you that they have a camaraderie that could pay off for fantasy. There's some cases to make in the 10th round for drafting him.
Okay, so
yeah.
but again, Keith, you got to ask yourself who's the number one target on that team, and it ain't gonna be Odell Beckham.
Yeah,
it's gonna be more like Mark Andrews. Mark Andrews getting 100 receptions easy this year because he loves throwing to Mark Andrews.
But you need 4 catches a game if he can play all 17, which I also don't think. Like I said, my biggest thing is the Ravens have the worst trainers in the league along with the 49ers. And I just don't
be like 1 and 2.
And I just don't think they can. The chances of that team, if that team can stay healthy, I am all in. That team cannot stay healthy. It's just
true.
It has been scientifically proven impossible. So I'm out. So let's talk about the greatest thing that happened to football. Are you ready?
I got it. I want to say something.
Hold up.
Can I do this one?
I'm gonna let you do it, but I'm gonna say everybody get out your pens and papers because we're gonna do the top tier of tight ends, and you want to write these ones down.
Okay.
Go ahead. The floor is yours.
Okay. Sydney, I want to apologize. I've been going at you for years about this tight end thing with Kittles and Kelsey and all this other stuff. But I'm going to say it now. Kittles is, I'm just joking. Kelsey is better than Kittles. You heard it first here. I mean, Kelsey's in the class by himself.
He is in the class by himself.
He's in the class by himself. I apologize. You know, we have had our fights over the years over this Kansas City thing. So, but I gotta give it to Kelsey. I can't. I waved white flag, man. I'm sorry, man.
So before y'all gave me a mic, whose name would I scream more than anyone else's? Before y'all gave me this mic,
go back and watch a few shows.
Whose name?
And
he would always say, "Oh Lord, there she go again." Whose name? It wasn't Mahomes. Whose name? Travis. I can't get his cereal box because I'm too short, but I would hold it up in front of this camera. Kelsey Crunch.
But I'm giving you, look.
No, I know. And I'm taking, my bad. I'm taking it.
We just gave you the mic and now you about to break it.
Yeah, I am. I'm taking it, but I'm just saying, but of all the names in football that I've been hollering before y'all gave me this mic, that's probably going to break in a minute.
I'm waving
number 87, baby. Yeah. So, Travis, if you ever in life watch this, you got a fan that lives in Maryland that's originally from Kansas City. That's all I'm saying.
Look, I'm waving a white flag. I'm giving that to you.
That's cool. No, and I'm take that flag. Wait, we got some flags. I can't even throw a flag on the play. I don't even have my flag.
Look, I give it to you. Because ever since the Super Bowl, we've been going at it about this Kansas City 49ers.
Yeah,
it's really not a rival, by the way. I just wanted to make it that way because, I'm a diehard Niners fan. But I got to give it to you. I'm sorry. Look, nobody can touch Kelsey.
Kelsey! Bring it back, baby! Kelsey!
What have I started? Now, because we're hearing that Kelsey is going number 1 in most drafts. In some drafts, he's going number 1 above Jefferson.
Yeah.
Which is insane.
That's wild.
Yeah, and depending on I'm not gonna say what league I'm drafting in, but depending on how it goes, he might be my number one pick. Throwing it out there.
Y'all listening, women? Because she's saying this now.
Oh, y'all don't sleep on me this year. Y'all slept on me last year, and I got my one too right up there. Mahomes, Kelce sure did. Not mad at it, and we'll do it again if I can.
And so our tier 1 tight end, you only need one name: the greatest tight end of all times.
His name is Travis y'all.
Kelce.
If y'all didn't know, number 87, he plays for Kansas City Chiefs, baby. Yeah, Chiefs Nation.
It's not even fair that he's a tight end. He's a wide receiver.
He's really a wide receiver.
All he does is do 1,000-yard seasons.
I mean, you got to give it to him. I can't hate no more. I mean, a lot of that hate was coming because I thought Kittles was.
No, Kittles wasn't. We were trying to tell you for years.
Can I be a fan, please?
I'm sorry. My bad. Sorry. Go ahead. Be a fan.
You can be a fan of Kelce because I'm a big Kelce fan. I make no secrets about it.
Yeah, now I will admit,
I would try my best to get Kelce in every league I can, just because.
Yes,
he's proven.
I mean, I gotta pull for my guy though. I mean, geez. I mean, I just pull it for my guy. That's all.
Yeah.
But I mean, I gotta give it to you. Yeah. I mean, it's cool. Hey. I ain't mad no more.
Once again, the Chiefs are on a roll. I'm trying to ride this ship until it sinks.
Okay, I got you.
You mentioned that there's a logic in some people's minds to go Kelce number 1 overall. And here's the point of fantasy football: you're trying to win in as many positions as possible, and there is not any tight end that comes close. You can, if you go, the drop off between the number 1 and number 2 quarterback isn't that far. The drop off between the number 1 and 2 running back, not that far. Wide receivers that we just talked about, between Justin Jefferson or Jamar Chase, give me any one of those tier 1 guys we talked about before. Kelce is in a class by his own. He was the number 8 receiver in football last year. Yes. Once again, going over that, the second closest tight end, if I remember correctly, was T.J. Hawkinson, and he was like number 26. So, he was under 1,000. I think he had like 900.
Kelce was the only one to go over 1,000 last year.
He was the only one.
We ain't talking 1,000 yards. We talking like 1,300 yards.
Yeah.
So and he does that.
He puts up wide receiver numbers. So here's your tidbit: if you were going 0 running back, you're not going to be able to do it because your league is not going to allow this. But if you can get a top wide receiver and combine him with Travis Kelce, you won. I don't even care about my running back at that point. Who
cares about a running back if you have that?
Yeah, get out of here. So if you're listening, combine Travis Kelce with anybody, and you're going to be in the playoffs because you're going to win that position by far. And then if you try to fill in the rest of them the best you can, you win.
Yeah, it works.
Yeah. So Travis Kelce is great. Did we mention Travis Kelce is great?
Travis Kelce is great.
And Kelce Crunch is great if you can get it.
He has his own. Well, he had. I don't know if he still has.
It's essentially Frosted Flakes.
Oh, yeah, that's good.
That's all it was Frosted Flakes.
The generic Frosted Flakes, but they're great.
Oh, gosh. Let's go to the next list. Come on.
Yeah,
all right.
I'm about to say, why can't we be doing this in Kansas City so I can holler this outside the house and have people say, yeah, she right, though?
Yeah.
Why?
I mean,
it's all good.
It is what it is. I'm still trying to get Kelce this year. I don't think I'm going to get him, though, but we'll see.
But only one person in your league is going to have Travis Kelce. So here are your next best options at tight end. Yeah. These guys are cool.
They're cool.
Yeah. Grab one. Because you got to have a tight end.
They are.
So they're your next best options. Wow. Who do you like?
This is the trueness and then the rest. Yeah. This is the true and then the rest.
Yeah, so who do you, because you got to get a tight end if you don't get Kelce, who do you like off the tight end list? And that's for both of you.
I mean, I'm going to say between Mark Andrews and T.J. Hawkinson. And I'm a Niners fan. And the thing is this. I think Kittles is really, really good. But I think, again, it goes back to too many mouths to feed. And I think T.J. Hawkinson is going to eat
He should.
a whole lot this year in Minnesota because it's him and Jefferson and a rookie receiver.
He was the second best last year, and that's splitting time between two teams. So,
and I think Mark Andrews is just Mark Andrews because they're gonna throw to him a lot anyway. But a lot like you say, if you don't get Kelce, you can kind of wait.
You can wait.
You can wait a couple rounds before you go get these other tight ends.
Look, Kelce is a first rounder, maybe first overall, depending on how your league is structured. I wouldn't take another one of these guys until round 3.
Yeah.
No, don't show the list again.
Oh.
All you need to know is Kelce, and then some other tight ends. You don't need to see it again. Just find a tight end list anywhere on the internet. You good? Trust me. You don't need to show it again. You good?
I'll show it in for you.
Nah, you good. You don't need to show it again. Just pick a tight end. It doesn't matter.
I see my ball said Dallas Goedert, and I like Dallas Goedert too. I think that's a good choice. Producer, who are you picking off that list if they work against you and don't let you get Travis Kelce?
Oh my gosh, Lord have mercy. This is funny.
Our producer, hello.
Huh? What happened?
What tight end are you taking off that list?
Oh my God.
If you can't get Travis Kelce?
Are you talking to me?
You're the only producer on this show.
I didn't hear you say producer.
That's why I said producer Cam over your head. Right there.
I was in the aura of Kelce. My bad. I was in Kelce aura. Who'd you have up there?
You still me not to show the list anymore.
She was like, don't show the list.
Cause, like, what you need to,
I said Darren Waller. There's a lot to like about this comment. There's Darren Waller. There's a lot to love about Darren Waller if he can stay healthy, and he's been connected with Daniel Jones. So I
got one.
All right, who do you got?
Sydney, one thing you can't do.
Huh?
You can't you got a mic now, so you can't just not hide what you were gonna pick now, because we got to do the same thing, and we in tons of drafts, and most of your league mates are up here, so you gonna have to share some kind of knowledge now, some type of information.
I did share knowledge. I said Travis Kelce. That was the knowledge.
All right, so who are you going with?
Oh well, see, I did share. I said Kelce. Duh, Travis. That was the knowledge I shared.
No, I said other than Kelce.
Other than Kelce.
Well, no, I'm because I mean, what else? No, but he did me all right in Dynasty, and I never say his name right. Freiermuth?
Yeah, Pat Freiermuth.
Yeah.
Good answer. We're gonna go Family Feud.
I was like, what is this? A game show now? All right, good answer. Yeah, he did me all right. He did me all right on my Dynasty team. So yeah.
All right. So let's put an end to this. Those are your next best options. If you get like Rodney said, don't jump for any of these guys. Get Travis Kelce if you can. Fill in with those guys. And if you really, really wait to the end, there's some tier 3 guys, and I have nothing I want to add about any of these guys.
Don't do it, because I did that in best
ball. Except maybe Grant Dulcich, who was a rookie last year. He had a really good year, and he could be good this year, but he's I waited until like round 12, 13 to get my tight end. Grant one of these guys.
I ain't grabbing any of these guys. I'm just saying.
Don't do it. Yeah. I did it for best ball. Don't do it.
If you're in Dynasty, Dalton Kincaid or Sam Laporta can be good for you because, you're building for the future. That's the tight end in Tennessee who had a really good year last year, but with D-Hop there, I don't think you're going to see any kind of production similar to that. So
I mean, we forgot about Washington. He's good in Dynasty.
Yeah, and you mentioned in Pittsburgh, Washington. Yeah, that's another one. So, but
she was like, "Don't show."
You're like, "What you showing it for?" Just find a tight end list.
Have mercy. But that's it. That's your wide receivers. That's your tight ends. You now have everything you need. Nita says TJ got it. So yeah, TJ Hockenson should be good. Like we said, he was the number 2 tight end last year. So that's a good pickup. You're gonna have to go a little bit earlier for him. 3rd round, maybe if people are really excited in your league. 2nd, I don't really think he's worthy of a 2nd round pick myself. No. But that's going to be the next. Him, Mark Andrews, Dallas Goedert are going to be the next guys to go off the list. Darren Waller, if you believe in his health, So but now we've done quarterbacks, we've done wide receivers, tight ends, and running backs. We're not gonna do kickers. I know some of you are disappointed. We might put up a kicker special.
No, we're not doing kickers.
We'll see.
Kickers matter too.
No.
Kicker. Okay. Hey, we showed.
Hey, I won some games with my kickers.
With running backs not getting paid, we showed that kickers, after the quarterbacks, kickers are the next highest paid position in the league. So
AJ,
they're
not doing kickers.
Okay, we're not doing kickers.
Don't even tell them that.
But what we will do, we're back on that every week, struggling with that mic today. See what happens when you don't treat your mic correctly? It comes back to get you. But we went through all the positions. Next week, since we're back every week now, set your schedules. Mock draft time. And you can play along with us when we do our mock drafts. And put all this stuff to practice.
If you want to join in on a mock draft next week, let us know.
Let us know. Hit us up.
Fun.
Right up here.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
Hit us. Oh, you know what? I just realized. And I almost did things right. On this view with all three of us, it still has our Twitter logos. If I go here, we have our X logos. The same thing. If you're on one of those, hit us up.
Just switch the bird
hit
for
us
an
up
X.
on
It's
Facebook.
all good.
Yeah, it's all the same thing.
It's all the same.
Hit us up, or you see us on the streets. Holler, hey, that's R&J for the famous R&J Fantasy Football Talk. I want to be in your mock draft. Let us know, and we'll try to get you in on it as well.
That is funny.
I'm too done with all of y'all today.
Oh my gosh. Well, look, season.
See, they know the value of a kicker.
So, hey, we here. Let's make it a good year. And have fun. Definitely have fun. Draft well, and use our knowledge that we give you because we winners. And I don't know about y'all.
I just saw the comment that liquors win games. We're going to leave that alone. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Take care. See y'all back here next week. Love y'all.
Peace.